The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
and this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
It's the dark time.
Welcome. Yes, welcome to the
dark time.
The NFL offseason report,
where we have been reduced to talking about Andy's sadistic sim impulses.
Andy's sad Sims characters, which I'm going to take as an entry in the DPOV if he doesn't mind.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
All right, that one's mine for sure. Then, yeah.
It's not even like that. It's the NFL offseason. It was a day where, like yesterday, my girlfriend and I had the option of, do we want to like watch YouTube of nothing or turn on Sports Center? And I was like, well, today's been the NBA All-Star game, so there's nothing on on sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lull in the NHL season. The trade deadline's not here yet. NFL not talking about anything. Baseball, there's we saw we were just scrolling through Facebook and you get those targeted ads for MLB Shop or whatever, and it's like, hey, buy your spring training merch, and it's like, for what?
Yeah.
So it's
hey, look at it this way: if you buy some of the spring training merch and then spring training doesn't happen, it's a collector's item.
Yeah,
the phantom spring training that never happened.
I could sell my Angels spring training 2022 shirt for $10 in 20 years.
Yeah.
94 playoff programs and all that stuff. Yeah.
So NBA Super Bowl's over.
We actually have a question, Zach. So you've been world champion for a week now. How are you enjoying your reign so far?
Everyone in Southern California is still trapped inside their homes because shirtless Aaron Donald is running rampant through the streets of Los Angeles. It's still great. I keep getting updates of, hey, the championship merch you ordered might be here in 2 weeks. So that's
Did
good.
you order it from a what is it? Fandom?
Fanatics. Yeah.
Fanatics? Did you order it from a Fanatic shop?
Yeah.
You'll get it in like 3 months.
Well, the thing that's so frustrating was like one of the things, like the locker room T-shirts. I didn't know whether they would have the women's cuts of the shirts for my girlfriend at the local Dick's Sporting Goods when I went. So I ordered that in the in my haul that I made the first night. And then, of course, I went to the Dick's the next morning, and lo and behold, they had them, so I got it. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll make sure to cancel the order when I get home. And you can't just do it online. Of course, you have to talk to a chat bot or whatever. So I did that, and
bot, Jesus Christ,
right.
And they were already like, oh, sorry, it's already being shipped. And I'm like, what do you mean? It said it wasn't going to be here till like March 7th. And sure enough, it said, yep, order is being processed. Now, does that mean that it's actually in a box and in the mail?
No.
Of course not. It's just, they just put it through the system one step too far for me to cancel it.
They have acknowledged your order is what has happened.
Fanatics has just ruined, I think, all of it. Everybody.
It has. I have never.
They're all so bad.
I have never ordered anything from an online Fanatic shop that's gotten here in a timely manner. Not once.
It's even worse right now because of the supply chain issues and whatever that they're.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though I know for stuff like this, it's like I know you have it all in a box somewhere. It's not like they're printing up the shirts in Vietnam and like putting.
I mean, they had boxes of both Rams and Bengals championship gear ready to go, so this shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, like I said, I got it fresh at the Dick's Sporting Goods the next morning. Like you have it.
I saw the saddest display. We have a grocery store chain here called Meijer, And I went in there and they had these Cincinnati
Meyer with a J. I've never understood that, but
I don't either. But I walk in and there's this big rack of Cincinnati Bengals AFC Champions T-shirts hanging on, and they're all like $5.
That's sad.
I mean, they still won the AFC Championship. No, I was going to say about Fanatics is I think the quality of the product's gone down a little bit too since then. At least in some things.
Well, it depends. I mean, we've talked about it before, but like it used to be back in the day. You could get you could buy what was considered a replica for any of the big four leagues, and you could reasonably expect a quality product. Maybe not all the bells and whistles that an authentic jersey had, but you could buy
Mike, I mean, you're an NHL fan of the 90s. If you got a starter NHL replica and it was like $100, it's just as good as some of the authentics that I've
exactly. No, exactly. I actually have the first jersey I ever bought with my own hard-earned money. It's a retro Toronto Maple Leafs alternate. It's a Coho jersey from the early 2000s. And that thing is better put together than whatever the hell Fanatics is crapping out at the replica price.
The difference is like in those and the authentics are just literally the double layers on the elbows and a fight strap. That's pretty much the only difference.
My Rangers Lady Liberty jersey is a starter, and I paid $20 for it. I found it at a place called Value City. I walked in and there were all these hockey jerseys. I'm like, oh my god. And I bought, and then I saw Rangers stuff. I'm like, well, I got to get that. So I bought the white at the time home jersey, the traditional blue road jersey, and the Liberty jersey for $60.
I'm
they're all starters, and they're all they're still all in great shape, no problems.
I'm still kicking myself. I could have gotten a white starter Lady Liberty Gretzky jersey, and I passed on it.
That's my holy grail right there, man.
I was holding it in the store, and nah.
Wow.
Yeah. But on the current Fanatics stuff, it's some of the replica, specifically if it's a Fanatics brand, like the NHL ones are bad. The NFL ones, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. It's just the frustrating thing is the different levels of jersey that Nike has created and how you can't find exactly what you want right now because of the supply chain stuff.
It used to be, you got an authentic or you got a replica. And if you got a replica, it was still pretty damn good. But now there's like two kinds of authentics and two kinds of replicas. And and not even
there's 4 levels of Nike jerseys.
And they're named things that leave no real idea as to what the hierarchy is.
Game, Elite, Limited, and then like the authentics use like the official Nike template name, like the one that I could get for the Rams is like Nike Vapor.
See,
Limited.
These are just words that that don't go in any one specific order.
Yeah, it's like it's like the NBA terminology.
Legend, City. Oh fuck.
Well, the NBA is where that stuff started, where it was like you had replicas, then you had swingman jerseys, which were like this weird hybrid, like in between, and then the authentics.
My thing with Fanatics too is that like MLB's shop used to be, I think, the best as far as ordering stuff, getting it in timely manner.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then Fanatics took it over, and I don't think I've ordered anything from there since.
NHL.com was pretty good. NHL.com's online shop was pretty good too. Again, until Fanatics took it over.
The only one that Fanatics actually fixed, and this you guys don't care about this, but was NASCAR, because NASCAR's was a disaster.
I don't know.
I imagine so.
I don't know. I could just imagine like dawn of the internet, NASCAR online, like the NASCAR website, and I just imagine it being the dinkiest shit. Like no disrespect meant to the fine people at NASCAR, but it doesn't seem like they would be on the cutting edge of the digital frontier.
The website was good, but it was the shop, because they didn't have they didn't have. It's kind of hard to license, like, because there's really, what are you licensing? T-shirts. Or hats or whatever, but the
jackets are popular, I think.
Yeah, and
the most popular NASCAR merchandise is the ones sold out of people's pickup trucks at
exactly. That's what it was like. And you would go, like, if you went to a race or something, I mean, you could get everything from, like the broke ass Walmart line right up to and there was just no consistency anywhere, like no branding consistency, no anything. And when they got Fanatics involved,
well,
and they sat down and they said, we've got to fix this, and they kind of did, which is nice. It's still gaudy as fuck. I mean, there's no way around it, but at least it's all consistent.
I have some bad
now
news.
You can get a Kyle Busch replica fire suit.
Yeah, right.
I have some
fire suits actually. Go ahead, Mike.
I have some very bad news though about all of this, because this actually is a timely discussion, because Fanatics is buying out Mitchell and Ness.
I saw that.
Oh no, really?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's bad news.
Oh boy.
So get your vintage shit while you can before that goes to hell.
See, I even got away from Mitchell and Ness because they made all their shit so expensive.
Yeah.
That like if I could go to eBay and get the same jersey, Mitchell and Ness versus like something somebody has in their garage for $100 versus the $400 they charge for some of this shit, it's like no brainer to me. Like if I need a vintage jersey, I will, occasionally I'll go to the local thrift shop and see if they have something, but it's few and far between around here. Or I just troll eBay and see what's on there, because I think that's the place for vintage sports stuff. Like Mitchell and Ness made it this. They just pounced on this market that was clearly booming at the time, and they certainly made their fair share of money. But they make some decent like T-shirts and stuff now. But in terms of jerseys, I stayed so far away from them.
Back in like I want to say 2002 or 2003, I was working like for a Christmas job. I worked at this place called Velocity, and it sold Mitchell and Ness jerseys. And this is 20 years ago now. And those things are going for $400 back then. That's $400 in 2002 money, not today money. So that, I mean, I don't even know what that comes out to today, but I bet you it's a lot more than that.
Well, the thing about Mitchell and Ness is, I think for the early to mid 2000s, they kind of had a place.
They were the big name. They were like they owned that corner of sports memorabilia.
They owned that corner, and there really wasn't anyone else doing what they were doing, because this was before any of the major leagues jumped on the retro bandwagon. It was, nobody was really producing any of these retro designs aside from Lim. So it's like, if you wanted something retro, you went to Lim and you paid out the ass. But now, between every team having like 3 throwbacks in their rotation and eBay becoming just so great when it comes to looking for jerseys, like they've really kind of lost what made them necessary, I guess.
Yeah.
When you go on eBay for stuff, do you even bother bidding? Like I do buy it now only, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Correct.
Yeah.
You can get some pretty good deals, because I'm not someone who's going to sit there for a week and like make sure that I'm 5 cents ahead of some other schmuck. Like
the only time I'll ever consider bidding is if the auction is going to end within like a day. Then I'll be like, I'll give it a shot. But no, otherwise it's buy it now.
Yeah, it's I don't have the patience for the bidding either. It's like, if I want it, I want it right now. So I'll just go, whatever. If it's a price that I think is fair, I'm not going to worry about it.
It's an antiquated thing to bid on that crap. I mean, there's a lot of it reminds me a little bit of like people who would go to garage sales and I know what to ask for and look for Pokemon cards and shit, and the unsuspecting seller would sell some garbage and that's actually gold. And really anymore now, there's just so much information available that getting on eBay, you're not going to get a deal, you're not going to get a steal. It's very, very rare. You might as well just say, fuck that, I just want to buy it.
Right.
Ship it to me.
Exactly. And when I do find a deal, it's because somebody's listed a buy it now price a little bit lower than maybe it could be. And so you say, oh, okay. Well,
I take clothes, like get rid of clothes and go to Goodwill. Yeah. And you look around in there and you'll see something like, hey, this is cool. And you can tell that they've already checked, because you would think that would be a place where they wouldn't know or have the knowledge to know what to charge for it. And it's all pretty much right where it's supposed, like, obviously you can buy t-shirts for $1 or whatever, but I mean, if you find something that's actually got some value, it'll be on a shelf with like a bunch of old radios that cost $3, and all of a sudden there'll be this like thing there, whatever it is. They want $90 for it, $100, and you go, okay, they know what this is. They know what they've got. So it's really hard to do that anymore. I still think with Goodwill in places, they
in like Salt and Light and things like that. They sell the stuff at certainly at a bargain. I mean, you're gonna, but it's not ignorant like, well, I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna put it up there for $1.80. It's like,
yeah, you're not gonna walk in there and buy like a World Series ring for $50. Let's put it that way. That's not gonna happen.
What's this say in the back? Gratzky? What's a Gratzky?
Gratzky rookie? I don't know what that means. Here, $1. That shit doesn't happen anymore.
It's just too easy with the internet now, just to look it up and see what it's worth.
No, and especially this is something that the pandemic has affected, is the online market, especially the eBay market for whether it's Pokemon cards or vintage anything. Like the market for that stuff's gone up considerably and made so much easier and documented all this shit over the last 2 years online. So, like because I have a whole 2 binders worth of pretty decent Pokemon cards that are worth a not an insignificant amount of money that I've tried to keep track of. And a few years ago when I was trying to find out the stuff, it was so hard. But over the last 2 years, that market has exploded to a crazy degree that it's all documented and there's not like a haggling that has to go on. I pretty much know what this is worth. I just have to get them properly graded and whatever. But it's a crazy world in terms
of like baseball now. And hockey and are cards coming back too? Because I've noticed, like, I've seen some stuff.
Certain cards.
There's this guy on Twitter I follow called Baseball History Nut, and he's always talking about cards. So I mean,
the large majority of them are still worthless.
Okay,
but they're the only ones that are worth anything anymore are like the extremely rares. That they do cut out there, and it has to be the big players. Like a local guy we wrote a story about had like a Tom Brady rookie card that he didn't realize when he got it what it was going to be worth, and then he sold it for like $7 million.
Wow,
jeez,
yeah, or maybe it was not 7 million. It was 700. I don't know. A lot of fucking money for a little piece of cardboard with some.
Even if I had like that, just kind of fuck you money. I don't. I'd be like, it's a football card. I don't care. Give me one of his Super Bowl rings. We'll talk. But I'm not spending this kind of money on a stupid card. I don't care how rare it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay. This comes back to, again, like, you can scoff at buying a piece of cardboard, but then again, as we recently discussed, people will spend millions on literally nothing. NFT stuff. It's just like
it was $3.1 million.
Wow,
Jesus.
Nice little nest egg,
right? Yeah, the non-fungible token thing. They were just talking about that on a show I was watching. So basically, you have the exclusive rights to the URL where this thing sits. Is that how?
Yes. Yep. Yes, but it is an image that is widely circulated. So congratulations, you own an exclusive URL to an image that everyone else can just have on their computer.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Why would you do that?
We went into such a deep spiral last week.
We can move along.
Bored, Greg. That's why.
Okay. Yes.
I don't want to live in this metaverse.
No.
Get in your goo pod, Zach.
Yeah, get in your goo pod.
I'm personally very excited. I'm very excited for Channel 5's Los Angeles Super Bowl episode coming up here.
Oh, that looked great. Whose house? Good. Ram.
Yeah, and he had horns on and everything. That guy, and he's just like, I don't know what's going on.
Didn't know what was going on, but god damn it, he was out there with horns.
Based on what I saw, these are people that were just hanging out outside the Super Bowl. These are not people that were going to the game, I assume.
Yeah.
Based on my little that I saw, because I see those people and I know the exact sorts of people that he's talking to, and it'll make for a good video. But please don't take this as any representation of who actually is a Rams fan or who was going to the Super Bowl.
Before we get too in the weeds on anything, we may want to discuss the official release of the USFL uniforms.
Oh yeah. So, let's do that.
I don't know. Is there a USFL sound effect?
We don't have one.
Jingle?
There was never a need. I need to go back and find like the opening music from like 1982 or 3, whatever. What was our first year? 83? Yeah, 83. I'll have to dig that up and find that so we have it on hand. Because no matter what, that's the one we're going to use.
The Usful.
The Usful.
Well, before we get into the specific uniforms, can I just say that we got 8 new uniform sets. The worst of them is just kind of, meh. What I'm trying to get at is 8 distinct uniforms that all look better than the Washington Commanders.
Or the Tennessee Titans.
I don't want to jump on that a little too quick. There's a couple of these that are kind of.
I would take every single one of these over the Washington Commanders.
Oh,
even
me too.
Even Philadelphia Stars side panels.
Yes.
Well, I was disappointed. The first
mashup of the Pittsburgh Maulers.
The first batch of these I saw were all like front shots or back. I did not see side panels, and I'm like, oh, these look great. And then somebody came along and said, what do you think of the side panels? I'm like, no, you didn't. And 4 of the teams have side panels, I think. Houston, maybe Birmingham.
1,
Philly.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4.
And it's Philly, Birmingham, Houston, and what was the other one?
Philly, Birmingham. No, wait, Birmingham doesn't have side panels.
Andy, you want to share? Are you sharing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's is that Tampa Bay?
This is Birmingham.
Tampa Bay has side panels.
They have side panels. Birmingham.
Tampa Bay, Houston.
Birmingham does not have.
Good.
Houston does.
Philadelphia.
So New Jersey does not.
My only issue with I think those Breakers uniforms are killer, man. Maybe I'm the only one, but I love them. I think
I love that. I love the colors.
Yeah, the colors are great. The helmet's cool. Michigan, Jesus. I mean, they were good last time. I think they're even better this time around.
I'm going to say, and this, you mark it down as hyperbole if you want, but I honestly believe this. The Michigan Panthers USFL uniforms, like this version, is one of the best football uniforms around. Not just in the USFL, just football period.
No argument here. None.
Great color balance.
Yep.
Unique color set.
Yep.
The only downside is they stole Tom O'Grady's logo, and that's a real shame.
I don't know. I'm guessing it's just the lighting of the studio they took these in. Like the pants from the roads look very gold.
Yeah,
they do look different. Yeah,
that's not the color they are though. They're more the older.
That's not intentional. That's just like the sun was in a different window or something when they were shooting this or something.
Maybe, I don't know. It seems a little too pronounced to just be a coincidence. But
I've seen other pictures of their uniforms, and the what look like gold pants in this don't look like that. They're much more subdued than that. They're like closer to the original color. But they really. Mike brought it up. I forget, was it on the show or on the boards? I don't remember. But they did this in how much time?
Well, no. So I mentioned it on the boards that you look at what they did for this set. These 8 teams did, and it's there's no excuse for why Washington has to look the way that they look, because I feel like this whole set of uniforms is very basic, but in a good way, and it proves that you don't need to overthink the problem, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's exactly it. I think because the Washington is a NFL team, they feel like they need to do something incredible, and they need to do all this stuff to make it make this splash with a brand new name and try to catch people that hey, maybe you don't like that we're changing the name, but look how cool these look. Look at all the shit we did.
Look at the dot just guys.
Whereas these guys are oh, we're the USFL. We're playing in one town on a network maybe, so we're just gonna here's some football uniforms, and because they're so basic, they work so much better than a lot of other applications.
This league has to survive because I've got to go to a playoff game in Canton. I've got to go for one of those.
So next year we'll have both USFL and XFL vying for spring league football, so that should be fun. I will look forward to that.
Where the XFL apparently is now the experimental football league.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
But on these specific uniforms, I have to agree that Birmingham looks great. That Birmingham just has a great color scheme. The pale gold, the white and the red. I don't know. There's just something very classy about it. I guess I don't know.
It's Boston College.
Yeah, I was gonna say I get
what
a
it
real
is.
Boston College vibe from these. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
like they look the exact same as a Boston College jersey.
Yeah.
Like
The
you
logo's
take
not
the
bad.
horse off the thing, you put an eagle on it. I understand. They're fine. Yeah, they're simple, good.
I mean, they all look good. They're not like breaking any new ground with any of these. The colors, couple color schemes are really good, but I mean, they're solid. Every one of them.
This one
There's
feels
not
just
one-
a little budgety to me. This one.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. It's they're the
fine.
Stallions. That's the new NFL team someday.
But
Birmingham will have that's we were going to talk about the Chargers. We need to. I think Andy brought it up. We need to move them to Birmingham.
Yeah,
That'd be perfect.
bring back
the
the Birmingham Bolts and just
you
reinstate
go.
them with the Chargers.
right.
There you go.
But speaking of moving like spring leagues into the pros, can we just straight up trade the Michigan Panthers for the Detroit Lions?
I don't know.
No,
Anybody knows
come
the
on
difference other than the uniforms?
No,
well, no,
come on.
that-
The Lions are fine. The Lions are fine.
Okay, these are the Bandits, and I think Mike was right when he said that they should have stuck. Ohio State would have sued them into oblivion if they tried it, but they should have.
Does Ohio State really own a basic template though? Like
Not back then, but I'm pretty sure they do now. You know,
So these I think are extremely mid. Like they're not.
Mhm.
I don't think they're not bad, but they're certainly not good. The side panel stripe going all the way up is
Yeah.
weird,
I
and
thought that stuff.
the
was
numbers
cool.
are kind of. This feels very create a team.
the
than some of the others.
the side panels. I'm not a fan of the side panels. And maybe they couldn't do the Ohio State look exactly, but I think that by doing it the way that they did, it's a bit too black heavy.
Yeah, I agree.
You need like the thing that made the Ohio State look work was that you had a lot of white and silver. And here they've kind of just pared that down to just heavy black outlines, and I don't think that works quite as well.
No, I agree.
I'd be more forgiving if they like the numbers remind me so much of like a mix of the crappy new Falcons look and the old Browns alternates.
Yeah,
With the drop
yeah,
shadow
you're
thing.
right.
Yeah.
That sucks. That just utterly sucks. There's no redeeming that. But I mean, I feel like the black is good in like the helmet stripe. The logo, whatever, it's generic. But like Zach said, to reinforce his point, it's like it looks like somebody was trying to create the OG Bandits in like a Madden created team,
Yeah,
Yep,
and it just looks like this, which is like you said, it kind of just falls in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, I was just about to say that again. That like not just create a team, but like Madden create a team. Like I mean, back when that feature first came into the Madden games, I certainly used it, and it looked something like that. I think instead of red, I probably used orange for like Ducks colors or something. But yeah,
all right. Who's next on there?
whatever.
The Houston Gamblers.
I was really disappointed. In these.
Greg,
The contrasting side panel with the you have the gray side panel with the black stripe and the and vice versa. It just that looks bad.
why is there two color schemes? Why are there two color schemes?
I don't know.
Reasons.
The dark, reasons. I know you guys aren't as big a fan of the helmet as I am and the logo and all that, but
How you felt about this interpretation?
this is not as good as their original look. I don't think. And the side panels. This is a team that when black is their color. You don't need side panels on the jersey. You just need a black jersey. You want to throw a red outline on the numbers? That's up to you. You can even just go black with white numbers. And I don't know why they just seem to
Wait a second.
What?
Are those away pants the same away pants
Yes,
as the Bandits?
yes, they are.
Even down to the stripe that doesn't go all the way down to the knee?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
You
Okay.
sure are,
So
aren't
they're doing this league on the cheap then. That's way to go. All right.
Looks-
That was the whole point towards playing everything in Birmingham. This is budget football, guys.
Yeah. After these guys, after the Bandits are done playing, they just pass the pants over to the Gamblers.
Right,
for their
right.
game.
And that's why the Gamblers have like all the different pants, because in case they play each other. Oh, we got the Rutgers Generals we just had pop up there for a second.
Sure.
The best team, the most amazing team, So luxurious.
Many are saying. Many are saying.
Everybody says it. Everybody says that they're the best, and you know it too, Mike. Everybody knows it. They're the best, and they're the biggest.
If they're not, then they're lying to you. And
right, it's fake
news. Fake news.
You know what? Let's stop the league right now. These are the champions. I just don't want to hear.
Just give them their fucking rings and let's go home.
The Generals here look like, what they remind me of is like if I was staying at a nice hotel in like 1987 and there was a bunch of wall art for like, you can come to our hotel resort and play football, and they just made like a shitty team with their logo on it.
Where I thought you were going is like if you stayed at a nice hotel, this was like the in-house brand of beer logo that you'd get in like the minibar.
I just want to point out too, sports fans, for those of you that are old enough, the guy ruined a pretty cool spring league, and y'all went and voted for him anyway, didn't you? You didn't learn anything, did you? No, nothing. Nothing.
Oh, it's although like jokes aside, I think the Generals look all right. Like you actually can't see it from any of these shots, but they have the logo up on the shoulders, which I think is a nice touch.
Yeah, I think they didn't they put like a heavier outline on the helmet or decal and all that too.
Yeah.
I think the problem that I have like now seeing these kind of like in a row like this is we have one too many red jerseys, white numbers.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a very red heavy league.
I mean, four out of the 8 teams have red jerseys, and at least Philadelphia has yellow numbers, but Birmingham, New Jersey, Tampa are all red jerseys, white numbers, and that's
these are okay though. I mean, very Rutgers. I think these are Boston College all over again too.
These side panels are just. This is the one where this is bad.
This is
like I don't think it's the worst because I just do not like that Pittsburgh color like distribution, but this Philadelphia one is it's like caution tape. I don't know what's going on the side.
This is a case where restraint would have gone a long way, because I think that pattern would have been great as a helmet stripe, and all they needed to do was restrain themselves and not put it on the jerseys or pants, but they did.
Who's the manufacturer? Who did these anyway? Do we know?
It's
pretty blank to me.
It's a no-name company. It's the same company that did the XFL's uniforms last go around.
Ripon Athletic.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I've seen them in high school jerseys. Yeah.
Somebody from the comrades should get on the phone with these guys, whoever they are.
I like the stripes on the pants. I feel like are okay in the helmet if they had just done those two things. But like if they had just chilled out with the side panels and the shine, like is this Dazzle material here on the pants?
You know what? It goddamn should be. I miss Dazzle material.
Why did they get rid of that anyway? Remember, everybody had
Nike couldn't do it.
Nike couldn't make their space age material Dazzle.
I was looking at sneakers today that were telling me they were tested for speed and jump, and it's like, and you can't make a fucking piece of material.
Greg, they couldn't make green.
That I get.
Well, the numbers,
the green they came up with for the Eagles, these latest Eagles jerseys, I kind of like better than the original one. So,
they had a whole year to develop it, you see. So they really.
It's wrong, but it looks good. So
I just don't know why you have shiny numbers on.
Because they're the stars, they're bright.
Andy, the socks look shiny. Like everything about this particular mock-up looks very shimmery.
Really?
And maybe that's because they're the stars, and whatever. But a lot of it does look pretty shiny, right?
I love the comment here. Philadelphia Hardy. Gotta love it. Gotta love the internet.
Oh. I think these are
beautiful. Like for all the reds that we just went through, this cool blue it's a soothing football uniform to look at. I love it.
It looks good.
I just feel like if I looked at this with the sounds of the beach playing, I could fall asleep very soundly.
Yeah, and were the original Breakers, were their jerseys this dark blue? I could have swore they were lighter than this, but maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
Oh, who knows? It's 80s.
I mean, that's like what
40s television. Who knows?
Man, that's almost 40 years ago. Jesus, am I old?
The
the jerseys that I'm seeing online from the old ones look like Detroit Lions blue.
That's what I thought.
Versus,
Yeah, this
like,
was a
Dodger
much
blue,
better
like
choice.
these.
This darker blue, much better choice.
I will say I think that they made the right choice in not going with the old style wave. The new wave looks much better.
Yeah, I think these it's either between these. I like the Panthers a lot, but there's something about this look that I'm just like, I really like this one the best.
I'm not the one thing about this that I'm not really sold on are the waves on the shoulders. Like that didn't need to happen.
No, probably not.
Well, I think it looks okay. I think it's a fine idea. I just don't know if they translated it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like they look like they cut off on the back.
Well, this is where those scrubs at Ripon Athletics need the geniuses at Nike who could fully integrate the wave pattern into their
but then
Sage template.
They'd fuck up the blue though, Mike. So it would all come out bad. Is what would happen.
Michael Walker says these were made by OTC Apparel. I guess I don't know who.
OTC. Okay, well,
but the one thing that really bothers me about this is that you have this like round waves and sharp waves and swooshing water, and then you've got this weird like blocky font, which just feels
rounded font. I think you're right. Would work better on those, but I saw the blue jerseys. I'm like, God, those look so good.
Yeah, like I love it. I think we all agree that Michigan is the best uniform top to bottom.
Yeah,
but if there was a jersey from this league I would buy, it would be this
the blue one.
Yeah,
me too, for sure.
Can finish up with the Maulers here and there.
Man, they were so close to getting this right. So but
that home jersey is fucking terrible. Like
we've got to fight a loss.
The color balance is so weird.
They look just like our Apollos, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
The colors are a little different, but that's especially the white uniforms are very reminiscent of the late Orlando Apollos from the AAF.
What's going on with the
super orange heavy meeting purple is just not.
I just don't like the colors purple and orange together. So
I'm okay with it. I think even on the road jerseys with the blue, the shoulder thing, the blue shoulder things. I don't know what you can call that. I guess just blue shoulders. And if you'd gone solid purple with the jersey, and this is a pretty nice looking set. I like the helmet logo. I like the gray. I think
purple and orange is a fine enough color scheme. It's just you have to do it right. It has to be heavy purple with orange accents.
Yeah,
if you put too much orange, it becomes an eyesore, and that's what the home jersey is. The road is fine.
My analogy would be steak and cheesecake are both really good, but you don't mix them together on the plate.
Can someone
clarify? You
clarify?
kind of keep them apart, and that's.
Sorry, Greg. Is this black on the pants?
No, it's just I think it's the lighting again for the studio. It's just the dark purple. Yeah.
But I like the helmet. They came really close to having a really cool look. But I'm with Zach. That orange shoulder block or whatever you want to call it just ruins the home uniforms. Yeah. I'm okay with it. The blue on the white jerseys. That's all right. I can live. I would prefer not, but I can live with it. But that where the orange is just too much. There you have it. The USFL.
That's it. Is that starts next spring?
April
16th,
I think, or something like that. 22nd. 16th. I thought I saw a date when I was watching 500 yesterday.
Is the XFL going to keep their branding and stuff for the teams? Or are they going to completely?
Nobody knows. They haven't said anything about it. So
I think they should. I mean, if you're going to come back, are you going to try to come back next year?
Yeah,
yes,
next year.
Yeah,
I don't think they've been gone that long where people are going to go, it's time. It wasn't like the first time around where it was 15 years in between or whatever it was. So I think they should stick with what they have.
There are some rumors that the Tampa Bay Vipers might get moved to Orlando because the USFL has the Bandits. But then again, the US, who knows how long the USFL will be playing all of their games in Birmingham. So
here's my question. How long does it take before we get the basically the spring Super Bowl where they finally go, okay, we'll play each other for you can't really call it the World Championship because it's not.
Intercontinental Championship.
It'll be the Rock Cup where it'll just some weird like Dwayne Johnson trophy or something.
I like
Here, Greg, just as a test to your theory here of it hasn't been gone that long. Can you name all 8 teams in the XFL?
Well, you've got the broke-ass Oilers, which were called the Roughnecks.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was the Washington Defenders, right?
Mm-hmm. DC Defenders, yeah.
DC Defenders. The LA. Fuck me, I don't remember what they were called.
You should know this,
I
Greg.
can't remember the cities. I'm sorry. The Birmingham Iron, I believe, was what they were called, right?
No.
Oh, that was
AAF.
That was an AAF squad, yeah.
What
that's why the XFLs had trouble because they didn't, get a.
What were the Birminghams called? Or did they even have a Birmingham?
They did not have a Birmingham team.
Wait a minute. If you have a spring league, you have to have a Birmingham.
That's what I'm saying. That's why the XFL has had its turmoil because they didn't put a stake in the ground in Birmingham.
Yeah, that's that's like a thing. That's just a tradition. That's a.
It's their anchor point.
Yeah, it's like what do they call it? The when you're like casting a spell or whatever. Like you have to do it. You just have to. No, I can't remember. Who else had teams? It was Houston,
Vegas, Dallas Renegades,
the Vipers. Dallas. Did Dallas have a team?
Yes.
Tampa Bay Vipers, Dallas Renegades.
Oh, that's right.
The Los Angeles Wildcats.
Oh yeah, the restaurant.
No wonder I didn't remember that, huh?
The New York Guardians.
I like the Guardians.
And the St. Louis Hammerhawks or whatever they were called.
The Battle Hawks.
Same thing.
Where their logo was a sword with wings.
Right.
And then the Seattle Dragons.
The Seattle Dragons of the eternal flame of the dragon.
I mean, to be fair, the Guardians and the Dragons both had kick-ass helmets.
No, they did. The Guardians had one of the XFL uniforms that I would say was like legitimately good.
Yeah.
The Dragon's helmet was pretty cool. Come on.
The Dragon's helmet was cool because it was the University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers helmet. That's why.
That's right, it was, wasn't it? No,
just looking at the 8 logos from the XFL 2.0, and then right below it on the mothership, they have the 8 logos from the XFL 1.0, and it's just like, oh my god!
The original XFL was Dollar Tree League of just trash.
Like the Orlando Rage logo is
this maniacs.
The maniacs with what 3 X's?
Just AX. Yeah, and the logo is just AX.
How about the AAF? I mean, we had the Orlando Apollos, the Birmingham Iron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Antonio the Arizona Firemen or something like that, or the Fire
Hot Shots, which I believe is who Zach's Los Angeles Rams backup QB played for.
That's right, John Walford, proud Arizona hotshot.
The Houston Broke-Ass Oilers, or was that the XFL?
XFL was the Broke-Ass Oilers. Texas in the AAF was represented by the San Antonio Commanders.
Right.
Who had a better uniform than the Washington Commanders.
Oh, I missed a picture here. Oh, there it is.
Look at that thing. That thing's awesome.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's different.
Pretty cool.
The Guardians helmet was
what were they? The Defenders, right? They're Guardians.
Yeah, the New York Guardians. Yeah,
you can find the Defenders helmet here.
That's what the Guardians helmet
made.
It was kind of a lame logo look awesome because of the black application.
The only thing I remember, the thing I remember most about the Guardians helmet was that when it was unveiled, everyone loved it except Ferdinand Cesaro.
Well, fuck, he doesn't like anything.
Who desperately wanted to support the Guardians, but thought that the helmet application was too out there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He still bought an NY hat. Like, I remember that being a thing.
Yes, he was very proud of his NY Guardians hat.
Yeah, that's totally on brand for that guy. I'm surprised he likes anything that's happened since 1976.
Well, the thing about him though is that he's super into like obscure spring football, but he's also a communist.
What's the language he speaks? Esperanto.
Esperanto.
Yes. It's not really a language.
Right.
I mean, it is, but not really. Gas helmets, man. Look at that. Those are bad.
I don't know. I feel like if you're named the Wildcats, you got to have something cat-like as a logo, not just a
Based on what the logo looks like, I almost think that they wanted to name themselves the LA Wildfires and just couldn't.
I want to commit. I don't blame them, really.
I mean, it looks like eternally. It looks like it evokes heat. Like it has like the little curls and stuff. But it makes me think
orange
of
and red, and it's got the upward. Yeah,
it's
looks
like if
Applebee's
had like a menu that was like inspired by Los Angeles, that would be like
Los Angeles chili only at Applebee's.
Los Angeles heat, something. Yeah,
yeah. The Wildfires. That's a little too on the nose. I think.
It would have been bad to go in a league where your closest rival would have been the firefighter team.
Yeah,
what rivalry, right?
Well, plus, I mean, what if the Wildfire were to like win the title? Then my God, they would just burn California to the ground like in celebration, or self-immolate.
If they won a title, their fandom would spread like wildfire.
Well, I mean, weren't the Los Angeles Wildcats the I guess the closest thing the XFL had to a defending champion, seeing as the XFL's first so far the only XFL champion, Los Angeles Extreme from 2001.
Wait a minute, I thought the Vegas Outlaws won it.
Nope. It was the
Extreme with MVP Tommy Maddox.
Oh, that's right.
Tommy Maddox. Jesus Christ.
So they played Vegas in the championship, right?
No, they played San Francisco in the championship.
What the hell am I thinking of now? I don't know. I'm lost and confused.
No.
I'm not even going to go there again.
That's NFL playoff winner Tommy Maddox.
Right. Mm-hmm. You couldn't fucking stop Tommy Maddox.
Hey, Greg, it's okay. It's okay. You got them back. You eventually got them back. It's fine.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yes.
Well, I think
I really don't know how this whole USFL XFL thing is gonna pan out. Honestly, it seems dumb to do two of them, but then again, the last time we did this, there were two of them. So
merge.
It's people trying to jump on what they think is an opportunity, and there's enough idiots with money to throw it in a hole to try
like,
it out.
If there is an opportunity here, and this has yet to be proven. I know a lot of people desperately want to believe it, but it's yet to be proven. But if there is in fact a market for a niche spring football league, then that's all it is. You've probably got enough room for like one league.
Well,
two's already pushing it.
Between the two of them, I just don't understand what the USFL is trying to do.
Nostalgia. Other than that, I don't know.
Well, right, but I mean, like, so at least the XFL have teams with city names that are, in theory, representing those cities, playing in those cities, and they can create a local fan base to what that's worth, and have some sort of momentum to build up this league. The USFL is completely a television product.
Well,
because yes, you have a Birmingham Stallions, sure, but like
Birmingham Stallions actually play in Birmingham,
right? But in the greater Birmingham, Alabama area, are you going to cultivate Pittsburgh Maulers fans that will follow this team and then go play all the playoffs in Ohio where they don't actually have a team?
Right.
Like,
that's the weirdest part.
I don't understand what it's doing, because otherwise it's a completely television-centric focus. Which at that point, like, why even have it anywhere? Just put it in an arena and not.
Well, I think the plan is, and again, I don't know for sure, but if I had to give them the benefit of the doubt that this has some kind of long-term thing behind it, is that you look at something like, say, the AAF, and the reason the AAF failed primarily was because the costs ended up being more than what was accounted for when they first started the venture up. And so I think the goal here is we'll play a season or two in Birmingham where to keep costs down, and then if we can establish ourselves, then we'll start playing in the cities that we say we represent.
Sure. You make enough money for 2 years playing as the Pittsburgh Maulers in
Well,
Birmingham and say they win back-to-back titles. The Pittsburgh Maulers are 2-time USFL champions. And then all of a sudden they show up in Pittsburgh one spring and just like, hey, we're your home team. We've been playing for you guys. And it's like, have you really?
Hey, if it might work if the Steelers post Ben life isn't that great.
No, I have a theory on this. I think that when did they announce the new USFL? It was before the pandemic, right?
No, it was after.
It was?
Yeah. Because before the pandemic, the XFL was still going. The XFL got killed because of the pandemic.
I thought there were rumors though that the USFL was coming back, but it was going to be like after the XFL and all that.
No.
Well, anyway, I just wonder if maybe they set it up in Birmingham.
It was June 3rd, 2021.
That's when they announced they were coming back?
Yep.
It was announced that
blows my theory right out of the water. Then I thought it was because maybe they just, at the time, even back then, they weren't sure that we were going to have fans or anything, but maybe they just play in Birmingham, but that doesn't make sense now. You could have easily fixed that between now and then.
It's going to be 10 months between announcement and kickoff.
I will say this.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's right. Go ahead, Mike.
I will say this, that if we ever get to a point where these XFL teams are actually playing in the cities they say they represent, it'll be less awkward than the Vipers, where, you have this team that's neon green and gold and playing in the Bucks red, black, and pewter stadium. At least the Bandits will kind of feel like they match.
Well, so this is purely nostalgia grab then, because they had no plans of playing anywhere but Birmingham, then it sounds like.
Yeah.
The only reason they're calling these teams this is because that's what everybody remembers.
Yes,
exactly.
It's no one remembers the Chicago Blitz. I mean, they may, but those
I like the Blitz's logo though.
Yeah, and they had the Denver Gold. Remember them? But I think that in the Jacksonville Bulls. But I think they took the 8 most popular USFL teams and decided that's what we do. So basically, it's just a huge training camp. In other words, more or less, to play games.
It's basically going to be a huge training camp that they put on TV and treat like a real league. They shouldn't even bother with the draft. Just like every week we'll have a LeBron and Kevin Durant style All-Star draft, and I like the idea until it just occurred to me that this is purely just cashing in on something that I thought was kind of neat for 5 minutes 40 years ago. I'll have you guys know that that tomorrow is the first round of the USFL draft.
Yeah, the quarterback round, right?
Yep. Yep. So tomorrow, USFL draft. They're not saying where I could watch it, so probably not the best sign. But the thing about it that made it so crazy, we did talk
TikTok,
and we did talk about it at the time, about how they have just gone from it's like 10 months from announcement to kickoff. Is that it seemed like, all else being equal, this seemed like a fly-by-night scam, but then I remember even in the initial press release, they were like, oh yeah, and the league's majority owned by Fox Sports, which is well, that's a real company. That's a real media company. So that is what made the whole thing very odd.
Majority owned by Fox, and now they also have a second broadcast deal with NBC, which is crazy to think that this out-of-nowhere reboot startup that's playing in one town with teams with team city names that aren't playing in those cities is getting a 2-network broadcast deal.
So my theory on that is, if you go back to the XFL 2.0, their TV ratings are actually pretty strong for what it was. And
it was 100% going to last another year, at least.
Yeah.
It was doing well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so sorry. Just speaking of the Fox and the NBC both getting a broadcast deal, they're going to simulcast the first game.
Yeah,
together.
I saw that on the. They were
will either of these simulcasts? Will any of these broadcasts be the Manning cast? Because that's what I want to watch. I want to watch the Manning cast USFL edition.
No, I now this kind of irks me because at first I was like, well, they'll play in the cities and it'll be kind of cool. But now you name them the Tampa Bay Bandits because and who are you appealing to with this? I mean, people my age, no one wants my money anymore in advertising. Well, I'm not in the demo anymore. Any of them.
I have a theory.
Okay.
As to what the USFL is going to do in terms of this whole fan quandary, because obviously there's no locale to them besides Birmingham. I think in lieu of the budget that they're saving in terms of travel expense and all this other stuff of hosting from numerous cities, they will pay people off the street to where you're a Breakers fan, you're a Panthers fan today.
Why not?
And you cheer that team today.
So if I just happen to be walking by the stadium in Birmingham on game day, they could be like, "Hey, come be a whatever fan."
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I'm reading here says for the season opening game between the Stallions and the Generals, tickets were released to the public at $10 a pop. And children 15 and under were free.
Here's a question, though. All right,
I'd agree to do. I'd agree to do it. Like if they were like
$10, yeah.
No, I'd agree to. I'd agree to do it if they
be a plant.
I'd agree to be a plant, but they'd have to promise me at least a free large pop. All right, you got to one up the New York Giants who only did medium. You give me a free large pop, I'm in.
Large pop. Oh. How many games of football do they think that? I mean, are they going to do double headers? How are they going to work this? Because I mean, how many games do they think? Like you've got 8 teams, so that's 4 games a week, right?
2 stadiums.
And 2. I mean, how many? I mean, I get it. Birmingham is the holy ground of professional football and all that, but everybody's got their limits. I don't know how they figured that they're going to get fans for all of these games. I mean, if the Buckeyes decided to play, at the high school stadium here 4 times a week, I'm not going all 4 times. I'm sorry. I don't know what they're trying to do here.
This league starts in less than 2 months, and we don't even have a schedule.
Well, you don't need one. Just everybody show up.
I understand, but it's like I know they're all playing the same. They're all playing in the same spot, so like the logistics don't have to be like that complicated to figure out what your schedule's gonna be.
I know it is weird because if you, other than the fact that Fox and NBC are involved, Mike's right. This looks like just like somebody trying to make some money real quick and get out of town. Like,
so here's
headed to Costa Rica. One of those.
Here's some financial stuff. So Fox owns the league with 150 million to 200 million over 3 years towards the operations, with plans to attract an additional $250 million from investors. And then I mentioned the tickets. Player compensation. Have we talked about how these players are going to be paid?
I would imagine Chili's gift cards.
So USFL players and staff will be eligible to receive a college degree, quote, tuition and debt free through some partnership they have with Strategic Education's Capella University and Strayer University. Player pay structure will be $45,000 for active roster players, $15,000 for practice squad, and $600 weekly during training camp. Players receive bonuses of $850 per win and $10,000 for winning the championship.
How many games?
Players will be required to pay their own rent, while the league offers a reduced hotel price at the cost of $75 per room per day, with the option for 2 players to share a room.
Whoa! I gotta spend $75 a day to live in Birmingham for the full season.
To live in a hotel in Birmingham, or you can pay your own rent.
How many games are they playing? What's the schedule? Is it 10?
I don't know. They haven't released the schedule. I don't know.
8, right? You have to play 8. Play 8 schedule. 45. That's I mean, that's not bad for an 8-game schedule. $45,000. I mean, it's not clearly not NFL money, but it's there are worse.
Well, no, if you play every team once, that's 7 games.
I thought oh, you know what? It's going to be 10. It's going to be every team once and every team in your division twice, or something like that.
Well,
right?
every team.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay, so if it's so if it's a 10-game schedule, does that mean the Michigan Panthers are going to go 5-5?
Well, no, Mike. They're not going to have to go 5-5. They can't. He won't be going F and 7-9. I'd say that at least.
No, they'll go 4-6, Mike. Whatever. whatever the 10-game version of 7 and 9 is, that's what Jeff Fisher will do.
Whatever, man. I hope he goes undefeated. I hope he just wipes his ass with this league.
Jeff Fisher, USFL champion.
I never tell you guys I ran into a dude when I was living in Syracuse. He was outside a bar I was at, and he was selling something. I don't remember. I remember his name even because he played for the Browns for a year, but his name was Dave Jacobs. He played for, was it either the Panthers or the Stars, and they won the championship, and he wore his USFL championship ring. Because I saw it, I'm like, is that a USFL ring? He's like, sure, he wanted to show it off, obviously. But yeah, so I don't know why I brought that up, but they actually had rings back then, believe it or not.
For schedules for the games, then, like we said, probably have to be double headers. There's going to be 4 games every game week.
Right.
2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
I bet you it's going to be more like a Thursday, Sunday deal, or Thursday, Saturday, or who knows what. But that's my question, though. I mean, I get it, and believe me, they're finally making the proper sacrifice to Birmingham here by doing all this. But Birmingham isn't that big. Where I just don't see it.
Question: do they build the Spring Football Hall of Fame in Birmingham?
They have to, right? I mean, where else would you put it? Where else?
Yeah, don't even call it the Spring. Just Alternative Football Hall of Fame. Right. Every non-NFL league.
I challenge anyone in the listening audience to find a spot better than Birmingham.
Well, here, Hall of Fame. To be technical about it all, the Pro Football Hall of Fame is the Professional Football Hall. It is not the NFL Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah, no, exactly.
Why are we not electing USFL legends or UFL legends to this thing,
or Canadian players for that matter?
Yeah, right.
But no, believe it or not, there is no such thing as the NFL or the Major League Baseball. I mean, maybe the Hockey Hall of Fame is not NHL.
Hockey Hall of Fame, no.
Yeah, it's
Hockey Hall of Fame specifically when they elect people, they specifically say that like international contributions help towards your.
Yeah, and same with basketball. Yeah. I think they put college coaches in there, and I mean even college players. So yeah, there is no NFL Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So you could get a guy like Warren Moon who won like 35 Grey Cups. And I do think that
who's the Crash Davis of spring football? There has to be a guy that's like played in all these stupid leagues.
Yeah, it was John Fusina, the quarterback. Oh, that played in all the leagues?
No, not all, but like a long time in like Iowa Barnstormers or whatever.
There's a good chance. There's a very real chance that by 2023, there's going to be some guy who's played in the AAF, XFL 2.0, USFL, and XFL 3.0.
Oh, yeah.
And God bless that man for continuing to try his best.
I'm still looking forward to Antonio Brown suiting up for the USFL in 2022 and the XFL in 2023 after he burns those bridges.
Okay, I think I have the guy you're looking for. His name is David Cobb. He's a running back. He has played in the NFL, the CFL, the AAF, as well as the I believe he played in the XFL. I'm just going to see if he got in there as well.
I've actually heard of him, I think.
David Cobb, you said?
David Cobb. Yeah, let me look him up.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sure. He has a Wikipedia page, for what that's worth.
When you play at the
Steelers, Bears, Saskatchewan Roughriders, San Antonio Commanders.
Wow. Way to go, David Cobb.
He was actually drafted in the 5th round of the NFL draft.
Yeah, did not play in the XFL, looks like.
Oh. You might remember him, Greg, only because he was a running back at Minnesota in college.
Maybe that's where I do remember him from.
Yeah, he gained 1,200 yards his junior season, 1,600 yards his senior year.
Okay. The name's familiar to me. I mean, it might just be one of those things where it sounds like it should be familiar, so my brain thinks it is, but I think I heard of him before. Yeah. Wow. Good for him.
Anyway.
No, I was just I was trying to think of like a USFL version. Well, the USFL had like when they folded, a lot of guys went into the NFL. A lot, like the really good players, like Sam Mills, the guy just went who shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but is. He was he made his bones with the Philadelphia Stars, and I know the Browns had a running back named Kevin Mack who came over from I believe the LA Express. And a lot of guys, Bobby Hebert took the Saints to the playoffs a few times after quarterbacking Michigan to the USFL championship. So there was a lot of crossover from those two leagues, but maybe a lot more talent or to work with back then. There were how many less teams in '83 than there are now in the NFL? Like 8? No, 6. There's 32 now, right? It'd be 26 back then, yeah. So it's 6 less teams, so you're gonna have some more talent out there.
So are we gonna put together a stream for a USFL game?
Oh, absolutely, without question. No doubt about it.
Just for the spectacle alone. I mean, I hope that they have. I hope they're around for at least 2 years because that gives them time to fail. And when they start to fail, that's when things get really weird. So they may have like the players won't get to eat. The winner gets to eat. Some sort of weird like the XFL in the first 1.0. Like I felt like they were borderline about to put that random kind of silly wrestling shit involved in it to where the stakes were so high.
I mean, they tried in the first go around. Like Jesse Ventura tried to have a pro wrestling feud with a coach who just like no-sold him the entire time. But
speaking of that, if you guys don't mind if we change gears really quick here before I forget, did you see what Juwan Howard did yesterday?
What's going on with that? I saw he got fined.
He's suspended through the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, he punched the coach from Wisconsin, which somebody got video where they could actually hear like them talking to each other at the beginning. Yeah.
It's unclear exactly what Juwan Howard was mad about, but he said, you can't be doing that shit. And then the other guy was like talking back to him. And then Juwan Howard grabbed him, or one of them grabbed each other and said, "Hey, you can't touch me." And then Juwan Howard smacked him.
I can't verify this, but I think just based on stuff I've been reading, that he was pissed because Wisconsin beat Michigan. I think that's who they were playing, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And even though they were up like 22 points, they still kept pressing. And instead of just kind of like playing to let the clock run down, let's get this over with, they were like pressing with like 2 and 3 minutes to go. And I think that pissed him off. And
he was yelling at the assistant coach. Too,
well, his
not the head coach.
Well, maybe his team should try harder. I don't know.
Well, that too, but
it sounds like there was something. There must have been something being said during the game that nobody is willing to talk about.
I know that everybody wants to like run him out of town on a rail and stuff. I don't see the big deal. I thought it was kind of funny. So sue me.
It's not like he punched the kid.
No.
he hit another adult.
I mean,
you want me to watch more college basketball? Do this more often, and I'll be there for it.
It's not quite on the level of John Tortorella like barnstorming down the hallway trying to punch Bob Heatley in the face. Like,
if we let it go, not even that's the point I'm making.
Who was the Ohio State coach, football coach?
Oh, football coach Woody Hayes.
Woody Hayes.
Yeah.
I thought it was somebody else, but yeah, Woody Hayes. I mean, if Woody Hayes did that now, he'd be fired like instantly because
he was fired instantly when he did it back then too. Just saying.
Well, okay, but the point remains like this is it's a bad look certainly, and then you get the teams fighting each other, and it's just a weird incident that
I don't know. Maybe
gonna go sit down for a week or two, and
maybe it's just because I have no soul and I don't mind watching the world burn, but this kind of shit just doesn't bother me as much as it bothers some people. I'm like, whatever.
Well, it was weird. I wanted to know why it happened, but I don't think it was like.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, oh, he needs to be fired. It's like, for what? I mean, seriously.
Well, it's an institute of higher learning, Greg, and this is setting a bad example.
Yeah, right. He represents the University of Michigan, sir.
The reason why it was funny to me, but no. That aside, I mean, I don't even care about that. I just think that to me, and I understand, it's not a great look, but it's sports. Shit happens sometimes. Everybody just take a break and relax.
Yeah. He didn't kill anybody.
Why do you have to be mad?
He hit him quite a few times by the looks of it, but whatever.
I'm sorry,
it doesn't bother me that much. Maybe I'm just a horrible person. I don't know.
Everybody came out of it unhurt, right?
Yeah.
No injuries. Move on. Like, it was a bad incident. You just move on.
I mean, let's not debate it on First Take for the next 6 months.
But they will.
I think a fine and a suspension, that's a fine enough punishment, and you can just
now, although speaking of basketball, we never talked about this when it happened. Granted, there was a lot of NFL stuff going on. Ben Simmons traded for James Harden.
Yeah,
that's
Well, James Harden, I liked that it came out that he requested the trade, but it was
away from Kyrie.
Well, it was publicized. he did not want it to be publicized that he requested the trade because that would have been his second time, third time, or something. So
a year.
Yeah.
A year.
So it was just a bad look for him, and I don't know. I just thought it was funny that it came out. Oh, and also the news was leaked accurately by a stripper who was
that's true. Yep.
Basically,
she tweeted out like,
I
just gave James Harden a lap dance, and he said he's going to Philly.
Yeah, but we're worried about Juwan Howard punching another coach, right? So I mean, everybody just needs to fucking grow up a little bit. That's what I'm saying. But no, I think that's hilarious. I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about the NBA. I mean, I guess I think that maybe the Nets get the better end of that deal. I'm not sure.
I mean, the thing about it is the Nets are totally dysfunctional. I mean, there are reports of like when the Nets went to play in Cleveland, Kyrie Irving felt that there was still too much like bad vibes in Cleveland, and so he started lighting incense in the locker room to ward off the bad spirits, and apparently that was like one of James Harden's like final straws. Like he just looked at that shit and was like, "What the fuck? Like I got to get out of here."
Well, we are talking about a guy who thinks the world is flat, so I think James Harden maybe consider the source a little bit, but
James Harden,
but Kyrie Irving can come back and leave here 5 times. Nobody's going to give a shit. It's LeBron they're pissed at.
I mean,
or it used to be anyway.
James Harden is going to be one of the one of the greats that will never win a championship.
Yeah.
I firmly believe he will never win a title.
Well, no, because you could only chuck up threes and draw penalties so much before it just stops working.
I was going to say he's like Charles Barkley, but that's not a fair comparison because Barkley played his ass. I'm not saying that James Harden doesn't play his ass off, but Barkley was a guy that just, I mean, you know, you never saw any of this kind of stuff with him. You know, the fat suit, and I want out 3 times a year.
That's what I'm curious about. Did he wear a fat suit to get out of Brooklyn?
Either that or that. I mean, I don't know, man. The Brooklyn thing, I don't know. I know he did.
He definitely did to get out of Houston, but I want to know if he broke the fat suit out again.
So I don't know.
Unless he was wearing it in the strip club, it doesn't sound like.
Remember when the Nets decided they were going to do the super team thing? We were, like, fuck you guys, and I think it worked out the way we wanted it to.
They
never put together.
They would have been fine last year, but they kept getting injured, so they never got the chance to really play together last year. And then the world turned upside down.
Yeah.
So Kyrie wasn't able to play with them all year, and then Durant got hurt, and even Harden was hurt at sometimes this year. Now they've been trying to come in and out of the lineup, and then Kyrie comes back and he's just being a freaking weirdo. And James Harden says, "You know what? This is all a mistake." Let's move. And of course, the thing that kind of sucks in terms of like the sport is that it's not like James Harden then got traded to some up and comer that needed him. It's he went from like the 3rd best team in the East to the 2nd best team in the East.
Yeah,
good for you, James Harden. Like,
yeah.
Well, along with
who else? Tobias Harris. It's a pretty good team, that Philly group. Yeah,
yeah. And like Andy said, though, I don't think they're gonna win. Like, could they win the East? Maybe. I think the Bucks are still probably the team to beat. Even Boston's coming on strong. But
I'm just watching some more basketball. I tried this last year and it didn't work out. It didn't take, but maybe I'll try again this year.
The problem is it's all pretty decided, like right now, in terms of who's gonna at least make to the conference finals, right? So you just wait until it gets important and then pay attention.
Yeah, I'm waiting for I want a Bulls Suns final. That would be awesome.
The Bulls have been the team that I didn't name that have been pretty awesome. Yeah.
They're also hurt as fuck, but like hopefully everyone comes back here in a month and they storm into the playoffs. I have no rooting interest in them. I wish them well, but it'd be cool to finally, see them have a run. It's been a while.
I think our Cleveland Cavaliers are pretty decent this year too, surprising the shit out of everybody in the process.
Yeah. So these are the standings in the East. Hey everyone, it's our NBA checkup.
Oh, here we go. February 21st this year, folks.
First place in the East is your Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Who are in a dead heat with Chicago, both 38 and 21. Then Philly right behind them in 3rd. Cleveland is 4th. Milwaukee is 5th. Boston is 6th. And then
time out. The Cavs are ahead of the Bucks.
Indeed.
By like percentage points. Yeah.
Still, I mean,
the Cavs are 35 and 23 and the Bucks are 36 and 24.
Wow. Okay. How are the Cavs doing? I mean, I couldn't name a single Cavalier right now. Is Kevin Love still there?
Hold on. Let's play our other favorite game. Name that NBA roster. Let's see. Nope. Give me okay. Yeah, Kevin Love is on the team.
All right, that's all I know, literally.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Rajon Rondo. I know that name.
Rondo's on the team. Yeah,
Rondo's on the Cavs.
Yeah. Let me pull up actual statistics. Let's see who their leading scorers are and shit like that.
Yeah.
No, can I get some player stats? I don't want team stats. You
looks like Darius Garland. Let me double check. Yeah, I don't know who any of these guys are. I just don't.
Okay, yeah, Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, Colin Sexton, Evan Mobley, and then Kevin Love is your fifth leading scorer on the Cavs.
Wow.
Right now.
Look at the Cavs.
Lauri Markkanen.
Oh, Lowry, yeah.
Ricky Rubio is on this team.
Ricky Rubio? No kidding?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
He's hurt right now. I know that. I'm basing all of my knowledge on my fantasy basketball league here. That's how I'm like knowing half of this. But
so the other weird thing as I look at the standings, I'm still not used to this. So after sixth place, there's a dashed line because this begins the play-in contenders between 7 and 10.
You mean the stupid fucking expanded bullshit that they promised us was only for COVID, but no.
No. It made too much money because they had the Warriors play the Lakers in the first one. So that's
going to happen again.
Well, there's some interesting things going on in the West. We'll get to that in a second. So 7 is Toronto, followed up by Brooklyn in 8th, Charlotte in 9th, and the Atlanta Hawks in 10th. So right now it would be Toronto versus Atlanta and Brooklyn versus Charlotte.
Arguably, 8 teams was already too much.
I was going to say,
like, the NBA.
Jesus Christ, like everyone qualifies now.
Oh,
like legitimately, does anyone think the Charlotte goddamn Hornets are gonna do anything in this?
Yeah, the Hornets and the Hawks are both 2 games under 500, and you know if the Hornets are lucky, they would get the opportunity to play the Heat, and if the Hawks were lucky, they would get the opportunity to play the Bulls. So
I'm sure that would go so great.
Mike Walker says Rubio has been traded from the Cavs, so he's not there anymore.
Okay, well, he was still on the stat sheet, so
all right, yeah.
Don't blame me. Blame NBA.com.
If and not only that, but if you're listening to this show for NBA stuff, there are better options.
And then one game outside of the play-in picture is the Washington Wizards. That's
they got to change that.
You've got to be really fucking rancid now to not make the playoffs in the NBA,
right?
In the West,
baseball these days too. If they ever play, go ahead, Zach.
In the West, your defending Western Conference champion Phoenix Suns are number 1 by a good margin, 6.5 games over Golden State is in second. The Memphis Grizzlies with John Morant, who's having an incredible season for them.
That dude can ball, man. He's good.
Yeah,
he's really good.
They're in third. Utah is 4th. Dallas 6th, 5, and Denver is 6. Your play-in teams are the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Los Angeles Clippers, the LA Clippers. The Los Angeles Lakers are right there behind them.
You know what's going to happen? The NBA is going to do
in Portland.
The NBA is going to do the stupid play-in game again, and we're going to get the LA matchup, and they'll think, well, that's cool too.
Man, the Trailblazers are almost 10 games below 500, and they're going to make the fucking playoffs. Like
25 and 34.
Jeez,
and just 2 games behind them are the San Antonio Spurs at 23 and 36.
So we're going
to Pelicans at 23 and 36.
So we're going to usher the Portland Trailblazers into the playoffs just so we can waste everyone's time with a game where they get slaughtered.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, it's something to watch, I suppose. Maybe the ratings will be good. I don't know. What speaking of the Pelicans, how's Zion Williamson doing with them?
Is he even back yet?
I don't know. I wasn't sure. Yeah,
I assume he's just. I just assume he's injured all the time.
Yeah, that's the best way to go about it, and be happy if he does actually play. Yeah, I maybe I'll start watching a little bit just to see if it takes. It didn't last time, but I'll try again. I'm not ready to give up.
And because I mentioned the Lakers, I just like to be known that the day it happened, when we were talking about this shit, when it happened, I said I did not want Russell Wilson. He would not work with the Lakers.
Russell Westbrook. Russell Wilson either, but yeah, Russell. Yeah, I know.
Neither one would be very good for me.
I think Russell Wilson might be a little better match for your team actually than Russell Westbrook at this point.
He might be a better point guard. You're right.
When you've got a guy that's getting booed when he shoots at home, that's bad.
And he's not taking. Hasn't he lashed out at the fans?
No, he hasn't been like a bad attitude guy. He's actually taken this all with relative stride for the most part. His playing style doesn't work with what this team is trying to do. And, when he it's like it's been almost everywhere he goes. When he puts up big numbers, the team doesn't win. and so the Lakers have also been plagued by Anthony Davis being injured and LeBron being out for a while, and so Russ had to carry them for a bit. And yeah, so.
But think of all the triple doubles.
Oh yeah, all those triple.
I was watching that dude throw up some iron making brick laying shit the other night. I was like, whoa! The only difference between him shooting those shots and me, I don't think there would have been any difference. They were just that bad. I'm sitting there going, I could go out there and do this. I mean, really.
Yeah. The funniest thing that's happened in the Lakers season was when the Lakers were playing in Sacramento, and when he got introduced in the starting lineup, he'd been in this like horrific cold streak where he just couldn't hit the fucking ocean. And so Sacramento, when he got announced in the starting lineup, they played Cold as Ice by Foreigner.
Nice.
And then every time he took a shot and it missed, which there were plenty, they would play over the sound system just the clip of Cold as Ice every time he missed a shot.
Oh man.
Westbrook would pull up, it would hit the rim, Cold as Ice.
He's already dead. You don't have to empty the clip into him. Fuck.
Like, go to YouTube, look up Russell Westbrook Cold as Ice, and you'll find it. And it's a good highlight. It's very funny. Like, congratulations to the Kings in arena entertainment department, and also congratulations on being 16 games under 500.
So according to Jay Will of ESPN, Juwan Howard should be suspended for the rest of the season, including the tournament.
Oh, fuck off, Jay. Take a drink, everybody. I was going to say, Mike, we were talking about that wasn't like just emptying the clip on him. It was like they emptied a clip and then put another one in and emptied that into him too. That's what they were doing to poor Russell Westbrook, man. That was brutal. But yeah, no, fuck off with the suspend. What do they want? Like, cut his feet off. He'll never do it again. Fuck you.
Greg's here wanting more coach on coach violence, not less.
I'm not advocating it. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying I understand it. I'll put it that way. No, I mean, come on. It's a tense environment, and shit happens sometimes.
You know what? Does anyone really care about the college basketball regular season anyway?
No, that's what I mean. So you're lucky anybody was even watching and saw it. So fuck off again. There you go.
So speaking of the NBA, the one thing that did happen was this is the NBA's 75th anniversary, of course.
Yeah.
And get this, the NBA, kudos to them. They achieved something that only the NHL could do. This is
oh wow,
and only the NHL, NBA moment.
That's not good company,
right?
So it's the 75th anniversary of the league, and when they have these big number anniversaries, they have a vote done to select the 75th anniversary team, in which they did the 50 before, and you name 50 players of the 50th team, and then so all 50 members of the 50th team made it. And then, in theory, you would add another 25 members to the 75th team.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of a tie in voting, the 75th anniversary team featured 76 players.
My God.
What was the tie?
It doesn't say. They didn't list them in order. They listed them alphabetically. So
fucking stupid. The Athletic had their own 75 list. It was pretty well done. And James Harden was 33rd on that list.
So there are 11
greatest players
ever. Yeah.
I don't know.
So
34.
So again, all 50 of the original 50 made it. There are 11 active players that are on the 50th. You want to, or the 75th? Do you want to take a stab at the 11 active players?
LeBron.
Giannis.
Yep. Kevin Durant.
Durant.
Yep. We know Harden's on.
James Harden is on there. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Still playing.
Joel Embiid.
Giannis is on there.
Right. We already said Giannis.
Oh, sorry.
Kawhi.
Kawhi.
Although active should have an asterisk at this point, but I'm sure a team is currently paying his salary.
He's the 76th guy that's being sitting down.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis is on there.
The guy on the Blazers, Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard, yeah, got to be on there, right?
Yep. How many we got now?
So we're missing 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing 4.
Wow.
Is it Kyrie?
No. Here, I'll put you out of your misery. Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Chris Paul, I forgot.
The guy one of the guys you didn't name, or sorry, we're actually missing 5. Steph Curry. You didn't say Steph Curry.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah, he's like the top of the list, right? Yeah.
Anthony Davis.
We got him.
Oh, yeah. So it was just the 4. So Steph Curry, and then Carmelo Anthony. Is your other one?
Oh God, I forgot.
Yeah,
Anthony's still playing.
He's got the
rest.
resume.
He's on the Lakers.
Yeah. He's still
Wow.
got the resume.
Okay, good for him.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There are also only 4 players who have ever been named to all 4 anniversary teams: 25th, 35th, 50th, and 75th.
Okay, I can.
Do you want to take a stab at who the 4 that have made it to all the anniversary teams?
Wilt, Kareem, right?
Nope.
No,
because no.
Oh, Kareem, no, they wouldn't be in the 20. Oh, it'd be Bob Cousy. Bill Russell.
Yep.
All 4.
Lakers, white guy.
Oh, George Mikan.
Yep.
And who was that other fuck? John Havlicek?
Joe Russell? Larry Bird?
Pettit.
Bob Pettit?
Bob Pettit, yeah.
Yeah. It just cracks me up that you got a couple like 5'7" white guys that are on the all-time NBA team.
It's like when you would go back into when we did this on the show when the NFL had their 100 greatest players, right? And then you go back to like some of the players in the 20s.
Yeah.
Well, it's they were the greatest players of their generation for the decades that they played in. You can't hold that against them ultimately, but yes, if George Mikan got on the court with Anthony Davis right now,
oh good lord,
it wouldn't even be the same thing.
No.
I think that Pete Maravich could probably hang. We got
into this on the boards.
The shooters could do it. If you can shoot, you can shoot.
Arguing about Russ or arguing about Matthew Stafford thread about people knocking. Like I just did with Bob Cousy and Bob Pettit. I think Russell could play in any. Bill Russell could play in any era. Doesn't matter.
Well. Oh yeah, we had to rename the Super Bowl thread, the adults arguing about Matthew Stafford thread. Yeah.
Well, so while we're all here, okay, what do you guys think? Hall of Famer or not? I think that again, and Mike will vouch for this. My standards are ridiculously high.
If Greg had his way, the Hall of Fame would be like 5 people.
Well, yeah, maybe 10 in the NFL because there's more players. But by NFL stand or not even but by Pro Football Hall of Fame standards, I think Matt Stafford's a no-brainer for the Hall of Fame. Now, do I think he's a Hall of Famer? Maybe, maybe not. But as it stands right now, I don't know how you deny him.
By the end of his career, with the amount of stats he will have, in total, plus the Super Bowl, I don't think, and not even just the Super Bowl, but an iconic Super Bowl game-winning drive. I don't think there's any negotiation there.
I think that
plus his 2 of his wide receivers had the 2 best statistical wide receiver seasons of all time in Megatron and
I think if you look at who's in it, and I'm gonna pull up the other Rams Super Bowl winning quarterback for this. I think if Kurt Warner's in the Hall, then Matt Stafford definitely belongs in the Hall.
I completely agree with that because my Hall of Fame, Kurt Warner's not in it. I don't give a fuck that he won the Super Bowl.
I don't give a fuck that he packed groceries. Like fuck that guy.
I don't care that he married Johnny Unitas. I don't care about any of that stuff.
Hold on. So wait, Kurt Warner won league MVP twice. Has Matt Stafford done that?
No, but here's the difference. Like,
he was stuck in football hell.
Well, right, the lines of it all. But secondly, think of the guys that Stafford's had to, like, in theory, try to beat out for MVPs. And
Aaron
Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson hasn't won it, but like you would probably give more votes to Russell Wilson as an MVP at some point than him, just because the Lions were never good enough. Even when they made the playoffs, it was like, what year did he make the playoffs?
He made it to three playoffs as a member of the Lions, lost all 3 games. I remember that because they brought up they brought that stat line up during the Super Bowl that just by making it to the Super Bowl, Matt Stafford had already
he'd already won.
Yeah, he was 0-3 in the playoffs as a Lion and was
he'd become 3-3 just by making it to the Super Bowl for the Rams.
And so he has a winning record because he won the Super Bowl.
The closest comp I can think of is Dan Marino. Like the guy,
Dan Marino didn't have a Super Bowl.
No, I'm not. I don't care about that. I'm just saying, like Dan Marino, in terms of his like prolific, offense and his numbers. Like I think there's a comp there. The ring, I don't know, man. Does the ring get him in? Here's
the thing. Let
me just run this down real quick.
Marino's teams were all pretty good throughout his run. Now, towards the end, they weren't, but for like the first, 10 years, they were contenders pretty much every year. So I don't know. Let me point that out.
Let me run this down real quick. So 2011 was the first time they made the playoffs when they were 10-6. And Stafford won the comeback player of the year that year. MVP was Aaron Rodgers. So there's that one. 2014 made the playoffs at 11-5. Lost to the Cowboys that game. That was what year? 2014.
If I remember correctly,
was Aaron Rodgers.
They could have got screwed in that game.
Yeah, that was the one they should have won. The other ones were blowouts. And then 2016 lose to the Seahawks, but that year they were 9-7, just made the playoffs. And in 2016 he lost to Matt Ryan of the Falcons. Was that the year that the Falcons went to the Super Bowl? No, that was Super Bowl 50. So that was Panthers. But my point being, these are the MVPs of the last several years. Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Adrian Peterson.
Well,
Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady.
I mean, like a guy like Kurt Warner, I get part of the reason he's in is because of his story and what he did and where he came from and all that. And that's fine. That's perfectly valid. But I also think, too, that you've got to, at some point, consider the guys that just put up huge fucking numbers that never won. Like a guy like Matt Stafford, who's won now, but like Dan Fouts was just a guy not really though, because he was like the best quarterback. I don't know what the fuck happened with him.
He played for the Chargers. That's what happened to him.
Warren Moon, 49,300 yards, 291 touchdowns. Stafford, 323 touchdowns he's 5 yards away from 50,000 yards.
Yeah,
like Dan Fouts. Dan Fouts has 254 career touchdowns, 43,000 yards, and he's in. So I mean,
and like I said on the boards, you've got to with each year, especially decade by decade. I mean, it doesn't quite line up that perfectly, but for the most part, it does. And you've got to put passing stats from the 60s into the proper context. Back then, defensive backs would just literally beat the fuck out of you every step of the way on a route, and same into the 70s, up to 78. So you can't expect big gaudy number, and plus they only played 14 games, and they ran a lot more and all that. So it's.
Again, and the other thing for Stafford, as another thing to say that it wasn't his fucking fault, was the stat coming into this year was in his time with the Lions. No other, he was the wording on the stats weird, but basically, as a quarterback, the teams he was on, he has the most points allowed by his defense against his team over his time in Detroit, in NFL history.
Well, that's not his fault
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That he was always fighting uphill because Detroit was just never good enough.
All I know is I watched the dude with basically a broken left shoulder come back in on a play. I think they're playing the Browns, and I mean, so I don't know. Again, like I said, you can't just make it the Hall of Super Bowl winners, because if you're going to do that, then just do that and make it that. Same with baseball. If you're going to make it the Hall of World Series winners, then let's make it that. But you can't. At some point, you've got to go. Yeah, this guy. Great. It's a Hall of Fame for players, not for teams and dynasties and all that. I mean, those are
right.
Too, but
because
you've got to
what that gets into an interesting question, especially right now because of the dominance of Tom Brady and we talked about this for years, how the AFC was only represented by 3 quarterbacks for 20 years. What happens to a guy like Phillip Rivers? I mean, he has similar numbers to a guy like Stafford.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, I guess the question I would ask too is like, in 20 years, will we all remember Phillip Rivers? I think I will. Yeah. I mean, my formula for it's pretty simple. It's like you've got huge numbers. There's a fame factor that plays into it. So yeah, that's got to be same with Matt Ryan. I mean, again, based on Pro Football Hall of Fame standards and that idiot Peter King and those fuckwad voters that they do, it's like, yeah, he's got to be in based on the way that you're doing it. Don't blame it on me if you don't like the guy getting in, because you're the ones that are setting it up this way. The standards are so low for that Hall of Fame that you can't deny a guy like Matt Ryan or Matt Stafford, or it was a running back to think of here, but you know what I mean? Like, it's you got to do it.
This year they inducted an official, Art McNally, and that pissed me off because Devin Hester was left off the ballot. It's like, what, why?
Yeah.
I mean, you can argue like, Devin Hester's impact on the game and all that. Well, I don't know. The guy was pretty fucking good. Everybody knows. When was the last year he played, Andy? Do you remember?
It was with the Falcons, I think. Maybe it was, I don't know. It's been a while. It's been probably 5 years.
And everybody still remembers him, right? I mean, not because he's, he remembered because he was fucking incredible. So, that's the thing too, though. It's like, you don't have like special teams guys. Why not? They're an important part of the game. I mean, they're not on the field every play like a defense or an offensive player, but they're still important.
Well, I mean, Devin Hester was the greatest. He's the single greatest kick and punt returner of all time.
Exactly.
There's no argument from anybody.
Yeah, I mean, but how long did it take them to put in Ray Guy when everyone's like, no, he's the best punter of all time?
I don't remember, but
took him a while.
But he's the only punter in there, right? And that look, I get it too with a punter's got to be pretty special. And if you said, Greg, pick the one punter in the whole NFL that should be he'd be the first name I'd name, Ray Guy. And I don't even know if he was that good. It's just everybody knew who the fuck he was. So it's just so much.
Well, here's another specialty thing too. Do you know how many place kickers are in the Hall of Fame?
Jan Stenerud, Morton Anderson. Is Vinatieri in yet?
No.
I'm gonna guess those two.
That's it. There's only 2 other players in the Hall that are designated as also being kickers. That being George Blanda and Lou Groza.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. That was back in the days when the big offensive tackle kicked extra points back in the 40s or whatever it was.
There should be a bevy of kickers from the last 20 years that should be Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
There's so much of an impact now for kickers.
Vinatieri's got to get in, right? I mean, he's got to. You've got to put him in the Hall of Fame.
All the Super Bowls, the big kicks he made for both the Colts and the Pats.
No question about it. I mean, I even under my standards, I'd let him in. So he's got to be in.
But the problem is, I'm sure he's eligible by now. But how long is it going to take to get him in there because he's a kicker and people think that we don't need to vote him in?
Well, see, that's the thing too with this this committee that the NFL just or the Football Hall of Fame is so screwed up in the way it does things. Don't they have a rule that you can have as many as few as 4, but no more than 7 every year to get in? So what if you come up on a year like
you can't go a year without electing someone,
which is why I like baseballs, where I know people get pissy, but I just love the idea that theoretically in baseball you could have all the writers just be like, fuck it, no one gets in this year.
I don't think baseball has a cap on how many can get in either. Like if you get a year where let's take steroids out of it, like Clemens, Bonds, all the big names.
Look, Clemens and Bonds not getting in though legitimately made me happy. So
yeah, but you know what I'm saying though, you get like a class where it's just you got 18 guys, and in football, sorry, 12 of you have got to wait, and the other 6 get to go in. What the fuck is that?
Legitimately, I know Baseball Hall of Fame gets a lot of crap, but I do prefer the way they do things. We're just hey, you know what? it's a free for all. Whoever gets in, gets in. Let's do it. Let's go.
Right? Yeah.
In some years, you just might not have anybody. So yeah,
I in my
Nobody's
lifetime, it's happened at least twice where no one got in.
Yeah. Hey, this year nobody gets in. No one was good enough this year. See y'all next year. Barry Bonds cries in a corner.
Well, I mean, what the real problem with all these Hall of Fames is you have people that say, well, he's not a first ballot guy. He's a Hall of Famer, but I can't vote him in on the first ballot. And so like these guys sit on the shelf for years,
which is dumb.
I was doing so well, and now I've got to say fuck off again. That's ridiculous. Either if you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer.
I don't even because like here's the thing.
Do they note it on your plaque that you were voted in the first try? No. They just put you in.
Determining who is a Hall of Famer is enough of a debate without then delving into are they a first ballot Hall of Famer or not? Like, just fuck it. Like, either they're worthy of it or they're not. And it's
who got in. Like, do we have a Hall of Fame? Like a couple, the most recent NFL Halls of Fame classes. Do we have those in front of us right now? Because I know there's a couple. I'm like, what the hell took so long with some of these guys? It was like, why? There was was it Art Monk? I think it took him forever. It's like, my God, the guys. I don't think they do it ballot wise in the NFL, but it's like, how did he not get in the first try? Dude was like the all-time receptions leader when he retired.
Man, some of these lists are too fucking big. I'll just try to list off the players. So this year was Tony Baselli, Cliff Branch, Leroy Butler, Sam Mills, Richard Seymour, Bryant Young, and then Dick Vermeil as a coach.
Don't even get me started on Vermeil. But Bryant Young.
Wait, what? You don't think Dick Vermeil is
Hall of Famer?
A guy?
No.
But he was the coach when Kurt Warner had his magical season.
Greatest show on turf.
If you don't elect him, he's going to cry.
He's going to cry anyway. That's what the guy does. He's going to cry no matter what you do.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say he's not a Hall of Famer. I maybe he is, but there's a lot of coaches out there without that Super Bowl ring. And I think that we weigh that way too heavily into the decision. Like you got like guys like
Marv Levy's a better coach. Okay, I said it.
He's in the Hall of Fame too. Marv Levy is.
But isn't he fantastic?
Like Marty Schottenheimer, 200, almost 100 more wins than Dick Vermeil, and he doesn't even get a sniff at the Hall of Fame.
Well, Marty Schottenheimer doesn't deserve the Hall of Fame because he had a 14-2 Chargers team that choked it away on Nate Kading's stupid foot. So
how many fucking seasons did that guy ruin anyway?
All right, we're moving on to I'm trying to read through these lists as fast as I can. You guys are delaying. Last year is kind of an unimpeachable class in many ways. Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning, John Lynch, Calvin Johnson,
Alan
Danica, Tom Flores, Drew Pearson.
Okay,
Calvin Johnson, Peyton Manning, and Woodson. Well, those are all first year eligibility.
There was one in there that I thought maybe not, but Drew Pearson's another one. He played in the 70s. The fuck took so long? And he was like there were like four big wide receivers in the 70s. Okay, there was Drew Pearson, John Stallworth, Lynn Swann, and Cliff Branch. Those were the big names. And it's like Branch and Pearson took this long. I don't get it. I mean, I can't. And my memory's better for that old shit than it is the stuff that happens today. I can't think of four guys that were bigger names at wide receiver than those four were. And it took all four of them longer than it ever should have to get in. And, you got Branch and Stallworth these last 2 years, or not Stallworth, Drew Pearson. Come on. What the fuck is going on over there?
So the 2021 is the 2020 class is weird because there's a bunch of these guys designated as like centennial inductees. So there's a whole shit ton of them.
Oh.
Because is
this just full of old dudes from the fucking 20s?
No. So like the regular inductees, you have Steve Atwater, Isaac Bruce, Steve Hutchinson, Edgerrin James, Troy Polamalu in his first year of eligibility.
You know what? I just realized. I just think Greg hates the greatest show on turf.
No, I enjoyed it. I like to where
nah, Dick Vermeil, nah.
No, man, I just think that Dick Vermeil is some of these guys are just like it's like they've got a cool story, so put them in. Is that the bar? I mean, come on.
What do we got, Zach?
The rest of the Centennial ones are guys. Some of them are players, some of them not. Like Paul Tagliabue.
Yeah, they put all the commissioners in, which is bullshit.
Yeah, Gary Bettman's in the Hockey Hall of Fame, which is goddamn disgusting.
These are the old ones, like Ed Sprinkle, Max Speedy.
These are fake people.
Duke Slater.
That's a great name.
That's a wrestler.
Yeah,
Slater, I'm pretty sure, is a wrestler.
We should just
he played both ways.
His name alone.
He played it both ways in 1922 through 1931 for the Milwaukee Badgers, the Rock Island Independents, and the Chicago Cardinals.
Wait a minute. Was one of those people named Max Sprinkle?
Ed Sprinkle. Ed Sprinkle and Max Speedy.
Oh, too bad.
Steve Sable, Alex Karras, Jimmy Johnson, Winston Hill, Cliff Harris, Bill Cowher. Again, these are all those. Go to the next one.
Cowher's another one. I'm not so sure about that one either. Dude coached a long time, but what the fuck did he? Okay, won one Super Bowl.
Well, the refs won him one Super Bowl.
Yeah, even better. Yeah, but I don't know. Anyway, we should probably move on to our. If we're going to talk about doing another draft, we should probably take the last 10 minutes of the show or so to do it.
Hold on. So are we doing the draft? Because the draft will come. The actual NFL draft is in April.
We have plenty of time to figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to figure out the glorious tournament of victory for this year first.
Oh yeah. So Zach, you're going to be gone when, Zach?
It'll be fine. I thought
the
Selection Sunday was earlier,
gone, so we can figure out the other shows in your place.
I'm just going to be gone. I'll be here next week, and I won't be there the next week.
All right, we'll just take that.
I'll be gone the what is that? The 8th, something like that. 7th.
All right.
We should still probably do our reveal our brackets soon.
Yeah.
Just so we have the groundwork laid for the
my current avatar is a tantalizing preview of my bracket. So,
dude, Ricky from Trailer Park Boys is an entry all by himself.
It is a form of him that's going in. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh,
so if we're waiting for the NCAA Selection Sunday, then I'm not going to miss it. If you want to do it the week before that, then I wouldn't be here. So.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
You either need to do it next week or Selection Sunday week.
Why don't we do it next week so we don't have to blast through the fucking thing and try to keep up with the tournament? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
fuck them. Why are we waiting for them? We're a better tournament anyway. They should be bowing to us, not the other way around.
We don't suspend coaches who punch other coaches.
No, we
we
encourage it.
We encourage.
Last thing before we go, because this affects Mike's team. The what is this? The Heritage Classic?
Yes.
Uniforms were unveiled.
I'm confused by these.
Yeah, so these are the Torontos. They took a Toronto Arenas jersey and blued out the arenas.
I don't understand what this. I don't understand what this is. Like, you can even scroll down, and they've got pictures of the actual jerseys they're throwing back to, and the arena's text is clearly white on blue, but
right.
Wasn't
there another Toronto jersey of old that just had a giant T on the front?
Yes. Well, that was the first arena's jersey, just had a giant T.
So I think they're trying to mash it up in some way then?
But why then blue on blue? Okay.
Because it's there, but it's not.
Is that the bar?
The other thing I think that is so weird is the clear stitching on the numbers and the T, because it's not in any particular pattern.
It's like blobby.
Yeah,
they're
supposed to be replicating old timey sewing techniques.
I would rather just have the last arena's jersey that they made. This is
stupid.
This is just the T. What did you say, Andy? T is for turtle?
T is for turtle. Like, it just it's a ripoff. It's basically what you're buying. You're getting ripped off.
The other team, of course, is the Buffalo Sabres, where it just looks like the regular Sabres jersey just dipped in cream.
But God damn it looks good.
It looks good, and you get those extra details on the Buffalo, which are great, but it's not anything
You got
new or different.
You know, there's only so many ways you can reinvent this shit. And I mean, I'd rather them do something like this where you have the cool, like, vintage buffalo on the shoulder and it's old timey and stuff. It looks fine, but it's not objectionable. Whereas, like, if they had done something where, I don't know, I don't want to see the Sabres be like, let's bring back the superhero capes for this thing. Like,
no, of course not.
I
think the coolest thing that this jersey does is all the details on the buffalo crest, which are immaculate and cool.
Like actual superhero capes, or just the jersey you're talking about?
The ones that were blue on the front, yellow on the back.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking like actual superhero capes might be kind of cool. So let's not rule that out yet.
I'm just like, if I was a Sabres fan and they put this out there, I don't think I would buy it because it's like I already have this like 3 times over.
I think Admiral put it best in one of the threads. I don't remember, but like, the Maple Leafs already have tradition laden uniforms. They wear them every night.
Yeah. The Leafs rep their heritage every. Yeah.
So do we really need to do this?
And the thing about it, right, is that I like the idea of a Toronto Arenas throwback, but we had that already, and it was cool for the game it was used. And now this version is basically the same, but the Arenas text is blue on blue.
Well, the thing that they really missed here is that the game is on March 13th. Why are they not wearing St. Pat's jerseys?
Exactly.
I know they already used the St. Pat's jerseys as alternate from St. Pat's.
Had a few designs, and they have not.
Use a different one.
Yeah,
use a different one. They're out there.
Well,
or hell, go to the 70s Ballard Leaf design that everyone hates. But you know what? Fuck it, they haven't used it yet.
Maple Leaf said it 90s, man. Come on.
They said it in the
graffiti Leafs.
Damn it! Sorry, they said it in the Mothership article. It's the Tim Horton. It's the Tim Hortons Heritage Classic, right? Being played at Tim Hortons Stadium in Hamilton, between the two teams that Tim Horton played for in the 70s.
Yeah.
Why aren't they just wearing what they wore in the 70s for the Tim Hortons game?
Yeah, why not just wear the jerseys that Tim Horton wore? That seemed like it would be.
That would make too much sense.
Yeah. But I find it funny that the Heritage Classic, which is traditionally reserved for Canadian teams, the Sabres are going to partake in one because Buffalo is like half Canada's anyway.
They literally play the Canadian anthem before Sabres home games because of all the Canadian season ticket holders.
Yeah.
Well, they're only what? I mean, it's like it's not 10 minutes to the Niagara Falls to get into Canada from Buffalo, right?
Oh yeah.
Not very far.
You go over there for shopping.
Yeah.
I mean, the Canadian anthem is a nice anthem. You know,
it is.
Wrong. Oh, Canada.
The people
Our trucks are vast and blocky.
Oh, that's making the GTOV.
Oh, really?
The Freedom Convoy, yeah.
I'd like to say congratulations to myself for I made it through an entire episode without some audio bullshit. For the first time in like a month.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, you did.
Go me.
Did you change anything, or we just get lucky? Right?
I just put the link in Chrome, so maybe Chrome 1. I don't know. I've been doing it. Oh wait,
were you doing this over Firefox before?
Yeah.
Well, see, StreamYard, I can't even use StreamYard on Firefox. It is Chrome exclusive, so maybe that was the problem.
Oh, I've been using StreamYard on Firefox this whole time. It's never been a problem for me.
You know what? It's weird because it will not let me sign in. To do the show, like I'm sure you could probably just go to it, but like to do the show and sign in and all that, I have to be on Chrome. It tells me like
I do it on Chrome. Never had an issue.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we will. Well, fuck, I don't know what we're trying to do here. I give up.
Yeah, we'll figure out our shit. We got big events coming up in the next month.
Big things coming up, fuckers. Pay attention. Vote when they happen.
That too, and more coaches fighting. I'm fine with it. I know that makes me an awful person.
Nah, let them fight.
Well, I want to see it happen in the NHL more often. Let's really let them go.
Instead of a jump ball before every game, let's just have the coaches fight, and then whoever wins gets the ball.
Yeah, you want me to watch college basketball? That's how you get me in, right there.
There you go.
All right, are we done?
Yeah.
Okay. Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via Apple Podcast, Spotify, the Stitcher, the YouTubes, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. We will see you next week with more exciting content.
Bye-bye.
Latest.
Yeah.